PR Connections Radio presents. This show is brought to you by Paid Per Letter. Write letters and make a difference. paidperletter.com/Uncle Dan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be interviewing James. James, go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
Thank you. My name is James Pesutich, and I am an educator and a copywriter. I've been an educator for over 27 years. I'm originally from California. I moved to Las Vegas back in 1999. I worked for the school district up until 2018 and had enough of it, retired early, wanted to write a book about education. I'm still working on that. And I hired Guy Dawson as my mentor and my coach. And while we worked together, I started doing some copywriting for him. And then eventually I actually got back into the classroom teaching at a private school for 4 years now. And I finally found a home. So I've been putting things off, but I still enjoy teaching and copywriting, and I'm passionate about making changes in education, making innovations in education, and that's why I called my company James Pesutich Communications, because I believe in the importance of communication and creating partnerships between businesses and the community.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I also believe in the same thing. Education goes a long way. When you say you're a teacher, what kind of stuff do you teach?
I'm an English teacher, and
Okay.
I've taught. I teach English, middle school, high school, and right now I'm teaching middle school and high school. And I also had a great opportunity years ago to teach adult ed at the Las Vegas City Jail, where I actually got to help inmates get their GED as well as get their diploma. So I was doing that. Right. Thank you. I was doing that simultaneously with teaching during the day. So I have plenty of experience, and I just adult ed was definitely different. It was more about test taking and getting them prepped to get their diplomas and get their GED.
Right.
And I found it very rewarding, and I was able to do that for about 8 years, and I just enjoy it. Right now I'm teaching at a private school, and it's awesome. It's a much better environment. And even though I still appreciate all the experiences I've had, because I've had amazing experiences both in the public and private sector, and I just enjoy continue learning and teaching.
So, did you get your degree, your bachelor's in English when you wanted to teach, or was it a master's?
I got my bachelor's in English.
Okay, that's awesome. And you
Thank you.
decided to teach high school students, and then I'm sure that when you were teaching in the prison system, it was definitely a different experience for you. When you say that you're teaching high school now, you're saying, oh, it's a more pleasant experience. Is it because it was more difficult to teach when you were in the prison system versus when you're teaching in high school, or what's the difference there that you experience?
I think that the difference was when you work with certain people or certain individuals, like inmates, you learn more, and you have a lot of preconceptions going in, and you realize they're just people who made some wrong decisions. And but don't we all? Right? I mean, we all make wrong decisions, but it was just a way for me to really expand my horizons and realize, people are people, and we have a lot of people. Everyone is fighting a battle, And I think when you hit rock bottom, you finally find some humility, and then you realize what what's really important about life. And for a lot of them, they just wanted to get into the union. They need a GED so they can get to the union and work, and which is great, because that pushes them, to make themselves better. And
Right.
that's what it's really about, is making yourself better.
And those are individuals who are a vast variety of ages, right? Like it wasn't just high school age range for those individuals that you were teaching in the prison system, right?
Well, they were adults. But it was mostly young guys in their 20s and 30s, but occasionally had people. You had old folks like myself in their 50s and 60s, but it was
That's not.
mostly 20s and 30s.
So, yeah, I love that you've been teaching for so long, that you have a lot of experience in that, because that's definitely something that you have to build skill with, dealing with different types of people and learning how to teach different types of personalities, like you were saying. That's what makes sometimes teaching difficult, is that you have to get out of your comfort zone and be able to just explain things and have a lot of patience sometimes with different individuals. Did you find yourself doing teaching mostly as a thing that you do to help the community in general?
Well, not at first, because again, it was an evolution. I started teaching because I enjoyed writing, and I enjoyed being creative, with creative writing, poems, short stories, and um, all those kind of things. And I thought, well, how can I make a living doing this? And I thought, let me try teaching, and it seemed to work out for me. And well, just like, again, with teaching, just like any other position of responsibility, sometimes you take things personally, and you let your ego get in the way. And obviously, that, like, I'm nowhere near what I used to be as a first year teacher. I used to
Of
go
course.
there thinking, I'm going to save the world. I'm going to shake some sense out of these kids, and and
Well,
and
so
then you
I'm sure
realize,
you did.
and then
I'm sure you did. Different. I'm sure that whatever you taught them has helped them tremendously in their lives.
I hope. But again, it's funny, because you look at yourself 5 years ago, or 10, even 2 or 3 years ago, and you look, and you think, well, why did I do that? Or I seem so naive. Or I guess that's a show of that you're growing, that you're doing better. But sometimes I still wince. I would wince if it was my first or second year teaching. And if I had videos of it, it's something that I would probably not be proud of. But again, it's an evolution of still learning.
And you said that you were a writer before you started your journey as in teaching. So you said you did poetry, and is that what made you major in English when you said you were doing a major?
Yeah, I think that was a really big part, because I just really enjoyed being creative. I remember when I was a kid, I was 8, 9 years old, and it was myself, my sister, and two of my cousins. We would practice. We would sing songs for our parents and grandparents. And if anybody ever had a video of that, I would cringe because it's just something that it was just something that we just did together. And then I got into music, and I started reading musical lyrics, and I thought, well, I'm not musically gifted, so let me just start drawing. I mean, I started drawing baseball pictures of baseball stadiums, and then and my dad would bring home a master schedule of baseball and football, the Dodgers and Angels, and they would have the schedules of all these teams. And then I would create my own leagues. I would create team names of teams and create schedules for them. And then I would hear a song, or I would read a book, and then I would try to write a poem or an idea from, from the book I read, and it just kind of morphed into that.
That's awesome. And did you write for any events too, like maybe like poetry slams or things that were going on in the community too?
No, I published a book of poems back in 2008 called Freezing Bridges Under Burning Skies. And it was
Oh,
more
okay.
of I turned 40, so it was more like a bucket list thing, more of a project. Let me accumulate all my stuff and start editing and start taking things out and adding things and getting them organized and putting them together.
Okay. And so when you said that you were getting mentored by Guy, Guy, by the way, is the person who has created this whole Business of Giving
Mm-hmm.
podcast situation where him and the board of directors that he works with, they're the ones that brought this to life for us for PR Connections Radio, where we can interview individuals that have done amazing things. And I really want to learn more about your writing in general. But you said Guy was mentoring you. Like, did you mean that what does he mentor in?
Well, I was talking to him and I said, I want to write a book about education, and I still do. And I write here and there on the side. I'm writing down ideas and everything, but I needed help with marketing because I'm not a marketer. That's just, I try, but I'm just not. And he taught me, like, again, how to think like a marketer, how to create things, how to find your audience. Who's your audience? Who are you writing for? What's their pain point? All these kind of things that I wouldn't know. I wouldn't even know to ask, because in my naivete, I just start writing and everyone will come to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's different fields. So like your specialty was writing, English, teaching, and so when it comes to another field, it's like we know our lane, but when it comes to another lane, yeah, it's not going to come easy. We're going to need some mentorship or someone to lead us through it. But I'm sure that you caught on really quickly.
I'm sorry.
I'm sure you caught on really quickly.
Yes, I'm still kind of struggling with my direction again, because
Okay.
I have so many ideas that I need, I still need I have so many ideas, but I still need a direction, and I'm having a difficult time choosing. Okay, what do I want to focus on? Because I think I have ideas for like 4 or 5 books already, but again, it's more of the discipline. It's more of the discipline.
Well, it sounds like you have the ideas and that you're really good at the teaching side of things, but when it comes down to putting it down on paper, you said you started it. So if you've started it, is it the finishing part that you're having issues with, or is it the fact that you just keep on getting more ideas? You're just getting excited. You're overexciting yourself.
I keep getting more ideas, and then I think to myself, where does that idea belong? Does it belong in the book that I'm working on? Does it belong in what I'm focusing on right now? Because right now I wanted to write a book about education, but then, okay, but what about it? What particular niche? Right now I'm focusing on, since I'm in a private school, I want to talk about the importance of private schools as being an option, a viable option for students, because we all, there's always these words like diversity and inclusion and everything. And well, what about the students who just cannot learn in a traditional public environment?
Right.
What about and then, yeah, there's charter schools. So it's going on. There have been some good strides towards some good things, but okay. And then they have scholarships and this and that. But what about the parents that can't afford the tuition who want to bring their kids to school? What about the parents who don't align? The public schools do not. The public school system does not align with their values. And why does public school have a monopoly on the tax treasure chest? Only because it always has. Does that mean that it always should be?
Right.
Why do schools have to? Why do some students do not like to sit in the desk for 6 or 7 hours a day? It does not mean that they're ignorant. Quite the contrary. It doesn't work for them.
Right.
So why does, again, questions are, we always have to ask these questions about why does this always happen? How can we change it? How can we make it better? How can we keep good teachers, but we should be able to fire bad teachers?
Right.
And why is it so difficult? Or help teachers, but help students too.
Right. So what I
because
hear
when I was,
oh, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was just saying, because when I started here in the school district back in 1999, there was always this division, this divisiveness between administrators and teachers, and administrators were really hard on teachers. And I think the reason is because they didn't know what to do with the students. They didn't know what to do with the parents. Administrators were afraid of the school board. They were afraid of the parents. They were afraid of the students, but they weren't afraid of the teachers. And a lot of teachers would quit. A lot of teachers would say, forget this. I'm going to work in a casino. Nothing wrong with working in a casino. But, try to get an administrator fired. No, they just move them.
Yeah, that sounds like something that's just general in the corporate world. You'll find it a lot of if you're originally working at a certain location and you have seniority, then you're most likely not going to get, like you're saying, fired. But what I hear you saying and speaking a lot about is that when it comes down to the minority of students that have these special needs or things that that would help them in the learning environment, that we're not really seeing on the outside, like through the screen. There's a lot of psychology behind there that we can do, like different methods of trying new things in the learning environment to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. And if it's not working already, let's just change it completely. And there's a lot of different things that you can delve into for that realm. So for your writing, do you incorporate these topics into your personal writings?
Well, what I've been doing more on a consistent basis is I've been writing blogs on LinkedIn, and I would just do like a short article about something that I'm thinking about, why it's important to like questions are more important than answers, those kinds of things. Even like Einstein famously said, questions are more important than answers, because when we're focused on the answers, but then when you think you found an answer, the thinking stops. So it has to, and I struggle with this because I'm still, as a teacher, still in that, even though I try to break out of it, I'm still in that mode. Okay, I give a quiz, I'm looking for the answers.
Right.
And I try to, and I give assignments to students where I want them to ask questions, and for the most part,
right.
there's I'm sorry?
You want them to ask the right questions.
Well, I want them to ask, who knows what the right question is. It's more about keep asking questions, to keep digging, so it's more about the process, not necessarily the product. But
Okay.
of course they're yeah, I mean, you do want to find eventually the right answer, or at least a question that will lead to something.
Right. Exactly.
So that's but I struggle with it too, because like earlier this week I asked I did a review for one of my classes. We did a Jeopardy game review, and of course, if you know in Jeopardy, you give the answer, and then you have to find out the question to the answer. That's the answer. The answer is the question. And and some students were just they just didn't. It was normal because they weren't used to that. Because it's like because it shows that how important the question is, not necessarily the answer. Here's the answer. But what was the question to the answer?
Right. Through this conversation with you, I can tell a lot about you. This is my first time meeting you, but I can tell how much you truly care about the individual needs from your students. And that just shows how much of an amazing, and your students are blessed, honestly, to have such a caring teacher like you. So in order for you to showcase and show them their you're just always trying to look for different ways to bring them out. Is that what got you to choose like Jeopardy? And do you have any future plans where your students, or just in general for the community, that you're trying to looking forward to doing or working on later?
Well, I'm trying to get I'm in the process of getting a club on our campus called Turning Point USA, which is a conservative. It's a conservative group, but the focus is on being able to communicate ideas and make everyone comfortable in speaking expressing their opinion, and just emphasizing the importance of free speech, because in our political climate right now, again, that's why I'm a libertarian. I'm actually more of an independent, but I'm a registered libertarian, because I see faults on both sides. And I just want some common sense. I want some common sense. We can disagree, but when you're shown that you were wrong, again, humility, go back, admit you're wrong, and go from there. There's nothing wrong. There's no shame in that. So I thought that's very important to me, because I know that there's some students who don't want to say anything, and especially in the public schools, they're afraid to say things. Well, let's just have it out, and let's just listen to one another. Let's talk. Let's talk not at one another, but to one another, because
Right.
I can give you. We're not going to get into the issues, but you tell one issue, and I could tell you how it's like multi-layered. It's
Right.
not just on the surface of what it is. So that's important to me. It's important for me to students to come in and find value in school, because again, I changed my attitude from being a public school teacher that I have job security, benefits, all that stuff, and I let it go. I walked away from it because I just couldn't take it anymore. Now I'm at a school where they can fire me tomorrow. Not that they will, but so it changed my perspective of, okay, I need to come in and I need to show value
Right.
of what I'm doing. What can I do for them? What can I do for the school? What can I do for the students? What's something either interesting or different to make them think, to make them try to maybe understand something, or again, trying to get out of and trying for them to get out of their comfort zone, and just
So
simply question, write the answer.
it seems to me like you've already been doing that, where you're always caring about the student and how to make things better since the beginning. So it's not like this is a new thing. It's just like I can just see you incorporating it more and more to make that learning environment, let the student know that, school is a learning environment. It's okay to say these, like, sometimes mess up, like you're saying, like say things that they wouldn't normally say, get out of their comfort zones and find different parts of themselves that they didn't even know existed sometimes. Because how are they going to know who they want to be when they grow up or what they want to accomplish if they don't even know themselves fully? So that's amazing. Thank you for helping all these students and people in your life find themselves and using different techniques and methods that you've found have worked. Because I know that your experience meeting different people and teaching them new things has also helped you grow in some ways as well. So you sharing that experience is extremely valuable.
Definitely. Thank you.
My question for you before we head on out, is there any event that you're planning on being part of where if any students out there or people who want to meet you or want to get to know or learn more about you, is there like a website or some type of event that you're going to be heading out to that they could communicate with you through?
Well, my website is www.jamespesutichcommunications.com, and you'll find some copywriting I have on there, but it's a platform to be an educational trainer, which is what I want to do. But then I ended up back in the classroom. So it's something that I always want to do, and that's another reason why I wanted to write the book, and then market that along with doing training for staff as well as students. In terms of events, well, this won't be until next January. Well, I went this year. It was the school choice event that they had last year. I'm assuming they're going to have it again next January. And then of course the cause marketing business expo in September. I'll be there in September.
Oh, cool.
Other than that, stay tuned.
That's awesome. I didn't even know that you had a website. So what does your website have that showcases? Is it showcase your work? And I really hope to see that book, out soon. Maybe sometime next year before that one event that you're mentioning, because then that would be really cool to see you. I'm sorry. I thought
you were talking about the book that I already published. I was going to see if there was a copy.
Oh, so you have published your own book. I thought you were still writing it.
Oh, no. I published a book of poems back in 2008. And again, it was more of a bucket list. It was more of a project, again, getting out of my comfort zone and putting myself out there, because once you publish something, it's out there. And
there was poem from that book.
I'm sorry?
Can you let us know one of the poems from that book? Maybe a haiku. Do you have a haiku in there?
That is so funny you said that, because that's actually what inspired me to write the book originally, even though I already did a lot of writing before. Around Christmas time, I think it was the year before, 2007, I want to do something different in terms of a Christmas present, instead of just giving people gift cards. And it's so hard to shop for family, especially women with clothes and stuff, but give them gift cards. Like, no, I want to do something more personal. So actually that was my challenge, was to create I created a haiku for my parents, who have sadly passed on. Both my grandparents, who I was close to, all four of them, and then my brother and sister, my brother-in-law, and my two nephews. And then I just wrote a bunch of other stuff I had, but I didn't know it's I think a few of them are on the website. But on the website, it's to sign up for me to be an educational trainer, and to come to your school, or come to even to your organization, where we talk about classroom management and student engagement and motivation. But again, I kind of put that to the side, because I'm teaching in the classroom Monday through Friday, so it's very difficult to do. Again, so that's something that kind of changed, but I still want to get into it. And then there are some copywriting posts that I put on there, that I had on LinkedIn, that I put on there.
So that's cool. We can look forward to that in the future. And anybody who wants to reach out to you or keep in contact to see, they can check you out at your website one more time if you want to give that out before we head out for the day.
www.jamespesutichcommunications.com.
Thank you so much for your time today. And thank you, everybody, for coming by and watching. And we hope to see you guys very soon.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I enjoyed it.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
for coming by. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.